Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne. And in this podcast, I share my real world self-publishing and small business experience with you. So let's get started with today's show. But I also wanted to remind you to subscribe to the Heidi Thorne Show wherever you like to consume this. I'm on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, on your Alexa with the AnyPod skill. And if you like the video instead, you just have to subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and you'll get all the videos. Now, let's dive into today's topic. We're going to take a little bit of a detour from our standard discussions on self-publishing books, but we're going to talk about something that's going to impact your book marketing and self-publishing career going forward. And what I'm talking about are native social media posts. So what are native social media posts? Those are posts that are specifically created to be consumed on a particular social platform. So for example, Twitter has the 280 character tweet limit. So you can just do text up to 280 characters. They now have photos, which they never did in the early days. And I kind of miss those days, in all honesty. If you're looking at places like Instagram, you have to have vertical photos for the stories and square photos for the posts. And you can't have any clickable links. And you can use hashtags up to, at this point, about 30 of them. But if you compare that to Twitter, where the hashtags are kept to a minimum because of that limited 280 character space. And then you got Pinterest, where infographics rule and vertical photos. It's just crazy. I mean, there just is so many different platforms and what is not just acceptable, but what works best on those platforms. Now, we can say, oh, well, that's fine. I'll create something specific for Instagram or Facebook or wherever we're talking about. But here's the thing that is the big kicker. If you put links in your post that go to a site that is not that social media platform, those posts are not given as much visibility in users' news feeds. Now, back in the early days of social media, we shared links to our friends' blog posts, to their videos, their photos. It was the sharing society, and we got a lot of traffic. I mean, that was how we built traffic to our websites and blogs, was from social media. However, as social media matured and a lot of the platforms were edging out of the venture capital stage and now had to actually make money, they needed to have income. Now, Facebook's been pretty good about earning income almost from the beginning, so I'm not too worried about them. But some of these other platforms had so much free going on that it just wasn't great for them. So now they need to do more advertising. They need to have more advertising, and any posts that link to outside sites remove the user from that platform, and then they're not going to see the advertising. So it's harder for them to sell the advertising with posts that link to outside sites. This is problematic because how are we going to build traffic to our blogs, to our podcasts, to our websites, to our book product pages if we don't do that on social? Now, it's not to say that you can't do that. although Instagram doesn't have clickable links except for your one bio link. But most of the other platforms, they allow clickable links, but those posts are not going to be given that much visibility. So it doesn't really matter if you included a clickable link. People probably aren't going to see it. So that's why a lot of marketers are really concentrating on what are called native posts. It's going to be specifically built for that platform, and it will stay on that platform. Now think about how that impacts your marketing. That means that if someone sees your post or your live stream or anything that you post on any of these social networks, they will have to go to your bio or your information page and actually intentionally go to your website and then tool around on your website to find everything that you sell in your blog and all these other kinds of things. So this is throwing an obstacle into a lot of our social media marketing. Now, I don't want you to think shame on the social media platforms. They're just trying to survive. And I understand it because I come from an advertising background, so I completely understand advertising and the need for it and the value of it. I do understand that. And so they're doing everything they can to keep users on their platforms. So that's why you see all of this emphasis on live videos. And I don't care what you're talking about. You know, they're everywhere now. You know, live videos keep people on, or so they say. I'm not so sure about that. I'd love to see more stats on that, simply because when I see, especially on Instagram, and I have so many lovely people that do go live, and it says so-and-so starting a live video. Okay, great. I love them. But once you get there, you don't know if that live video is going to be 1 minute or 60 minutes. And on Facebook, you can have a live video that goes up to 4 hours, or at least as of this point. I mean, if you don't know how long that is going to be, I don't know if people stick around. So I think I'm really wanting to see more statistics on that. Not just, oh, well, you should do live. I just want to see, well, how effective is it? So I'm watching for those stats, and as I find out more about that, I will certainly share them with you. But what should you do as a self-published author? Well, realize that your posts are going to be all about branding. You want people to recognize you as a valuable resource on social media, and so valuable in that they will be motivated to go and visit your website links that are in your biography or your Facebook page information, or where they can jump off to your blog site or wherever you have them linked to in your bio and your information. That is challenging, and it's turning us authors into true marketers, and it's all about the branding. So think about how you want to strategize that going forward as you promote your books. There might be a two-step process for people to get to your book links in the future if you are using a lot of these native posts. So it's just a lot of, there's nothing you can say about social media except that it's in a constant state of change, and it will continue to change forever. So that's just what's current right now that is being emphasized. So start thinking about how you're going to work that into your self-publishing marketing plans. Now, I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, I would really appreciate it if you would wander over to iTunes and give the Heidi Thorne Show a nice rating and review. And of course, while you're there, as I mentioned earlier, don't forget to subscribe to the Heidi Thorne Show on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, on your Alexa with the AnyPod skill. And if you like the video version better, you just have to subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel. And of course, I'm going to ask you to share this podcast on social media, even though it will be an external link. But I do hope you will share this podcast with your social media friends, and especially those who are authors. My books, if you are motivated to check them out, are on Amazon. You just have to search for my name, Heidi Thorne, and you will find my author page on Amazon. You'll see all my books and ebooks and audiobooks, but my audiobooks are also available on iTunes Audiobooks and Audible. My website, in case you want to connect with me, is HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.